Woj, bomb.
What up, what up, what up, what up with Woj?
Take note.
Big Beach! We're here.
My man Alan Houston.
It's different this time, but it sounds like you reached
She didn't tell him. Okay, so, well, not great news. I'm going to read it exactly from, first of all, shout out to everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. I know it's been a while since we posted the video and been consistent, but we're coming back. But obviously the news today is huge and it implicates us. So it should be definitely something we need to talk about. So, huge trade that goes down today. The Brooklyn Nets have traded Alan Crabb, who is $18 million, so a ton of salary there for one more season. They traded him and the number 17 pick in this draft to the Hawks for the 2020 Atlanta pick, a 2021 second round pick, and Taurean Prince. Now, this entire move is all for cap space. This is them clearing money.
Let's put this in layman terms and how it affects us. Basically, they've just created cap space for 2 max players, which is what we thought we had. We were like, oh.
Well, we do still have it.
Well, we do still have it, but now we got competition right next door that has just done the exact same thing that we did, like that.
Exactly. Now, they haven't gotten all the way there yet. They still have to renounce guys like Jared Dudley, Ed Davis, and a couple others. They're going to have to figure out the whole D'Angelo Russell situation. So it's not set just yet, like, oh, they did it. But they're now, it's very easy for them to do it if push comes to shove. They can now go into meetings, talk to 2 guys, and say, oh, you're coming? Cool. By tomorrow, it'll be done.
Right. And D'Angelo Russell is not affected in this at all.
They can figure out a way with him where either renouncing him or something. But what I'm saying is, regardless of what it is, D'Lo may be there, D'Lo may not be there, but taking him away just for a second, they can make it happen for 2 guys. They can now talk to somebody in a meeting and tell them, hey, you can bring someone with you too. We will make it happen. The difference is we have already done it. So we don't have anything to do. Right now, we did our work months ago. It's done. However, I'm intrigued by the timing of this. Because it's a weird time. You don't really see trades during the finals.
Okay.
Right? You usually see, because you're allowed to trade from now, but you usually see it kind of happen closer to draft night.
Right.
The fact that they did this today.
You think they're trying to cause some friction?
This week. I have a feeling there's a chance that they know he's coming and he's told them he's coming. Because another Woj tweet from today. So someone mentioned this. Knicks Film School, shout out to JB. He said, and this is really interesting, said, the news that they made the trade isn't the biggest news. The trade, they were always probably going to do something to make themselves more of an option for players this summer.
Right.
The real big news is this from Woj. So it's coming from Woj.
Yes, legit source.
And I quote, Kyrie Irving is serious about the Nets, and the Nets are serious about beating the Knicks and the rest of the league to the biggest free agent prizes in the marketplace, per league sources.
So I just heard that as I got out of the car. I just heard that. That's why I text you. I got out of the car, and that's what I heard.
Yep. So
I did hear the 2 things about Kyrie being up on the Upper West Side or Upper East Side, 72nd Street, coming out of a townhouse that he supposedly is purchasing or leasing or what have you. And then I think the 40-40 rumor was BS. That he was there with
apparently
Nets.
Maybe he was there, but in a different private room.
He was there, but not necessarily with New York. Oh my God! Listen to what I'm saying. With Brooklyn Nets players. So I've been telling you, Terry, that I had this horrible
all year long.
All year long, and I'm gonna put it out there only because I said it, and so now I just want to kind of put it out there. I had this feeling all year long that KD is to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah. Now,
if that happens with what we're talking about with Kyrie, then
so there are a million things here, and that's obviously one. The initial thing before all this craziness happened, like a year ago, was that Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler wanted to play together in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That they were the type too.
Okay.
Right. Later on, the KD news grew bigger and bigger. But Kyrie and Jimmy playing in New York was like a thing, especially when Jimmy requested that trade after winning that practice and
when screamed on everyone, right?
So there was always this idea that Jimmy and Kyrie were trying to figure something out. They were talking to you. I could definitely see Jimmy and Kyrie in Brooklyn together, right? I have a gut feeling that KD, if KD is coming, I've said this before, if KD's coming, if he's leaving Golden State, he's going to go all in, which is going to the Knicks. There's no real comparison. I'm being honest. There's no comparison between the Knicks and the Nets in terms of just what the media and what it means. The Nets are, even though obviously the New Jersey Nets have existed, they're kind of, really creating their legacy now.
Right.
And while that could be appealing, I think for Kyrie, that could be very appealing. I think for KD, if he's leaving the Warriors, he's coming to MSG to try to do that whole thing on Broadway. Now, this throws so many things in the air, though, because how close are KD and Kyrie? Is Kyrie, maybe Kyrie's 90% in on the Nets, and now he's talking to KD like, yo, I know you're not into Brooklyn, but yo, come to the meeting with me at least and let's check it out, right? This throws in another thing. There's this now, Perry and Mills are sitting back. This is definitely news to them. Obviously, no one knows. People forget often that other front offices are also working. People are like, oh, Perry and Mills, they got it. I'm like, every team has guys doing it. Does this pressure Perry and Mills? Because they've said before, if they don't get stars, they will not mess it up. They will stay the course, not pay guys that they shouldn't pay like we've always done.
Right.
If this news and they get whiff of like, oh no, the Nets are really serious contenders, does this force you to get AD? Does this force you to say, you know what? Since Kyrie's going to Brooklyn, we need to lock in. We can't risk it now because you run the risk of if you don't trade for someone and you get to free agency. Because I've said this before, any team that gives the Knicks a meeting they're going over the bridge. Any player, sorry. They're going over the bridge to give the Nets a meeting. It's so close. If you're flying to New York from LA, from Toronto, wherever you're living, and you're coming to New York for a meeting to discuss free agency, and you go to the Garden and you have your meeting with Fizz, Perry, and Mills.
You're having a meeting with Brooklyn.
Going to Brooklyn to have the meeting. It makes too much sense. You're probably doing it, honestly, back-to-back days or maybe even the same day. Because it's killing two birds with one stone, right? Like, it just makes so much sense.
And the thing is with Brooklyn, what I feel right now, I think there's so much sex appeal in Brooklyn. And I use that word because Brooklyn has really become that. And like you said, the Nets really are right now trying to make their mark. They did really well this year. They've shown that they have a good team, strong team. I mean, where were they in the playoff standing?
When they finished, was it 7th or 8th? But they won a game, they played well. Listen, the Nets showed something this season, which is why I also never got the idea that, oh, it's cool if we just lose, it's fine. I'm like, no, if you're a free agent and you're looking at teams and you're seeing a team, like the Clippers, I brought this up too, because they're also a team that could have 2 slots this summer. If you're seeing a team like the Clippers who took the Warriors to, I think, 6 games and looked good in the playoffs with Beverly barking at KD, or the Nets who I know they definitely won. I can't remember how many games they won, but they definitely won the one game against Philly. And they looked, they showed a lot of team spirit and growth this year.
Yeah.
Versus the Knicks, who, yes, we have the appeal of everything, but we also won 17 games. There's just so much.
Worst record.
Right? So I can get that. I totally get that. But the silly season has started. I think that's the number one takeaway here. The Knicks will have competition. I want to throw this out there, though, because I posted this on Twitter. It's a good thing if the Nets are good. I genuinely think the Knicks being bad for so long is because we had no competition.
I was going to say, so competition in any field that you're in actually helps you to step your game up.
100%.
So for that, yes, I realize that. But we got to do a whole video on AD because we have a lot to say about him and about where we think he's going to end up and what that plays out for with the Knicks. So we'll get back to that. But right now, that was just some really big news that just happened. We wanted to talk about it real quick. Terry, you'll edit this and we'll make it like nice and compact. I don't want to be talking to honestly, make it compact because I don't want to be talking too much about the Nets anyway.
No, this is all, don't worry, this is all for us. This is because it affects the Knicks big time. Right? About AD, what's so interesting is we're going to do pros and cons kind of AD. One thing that's so interesting about this is this actually now becomes, what happened today is now a pro for AD because now you're a little bit more worried about who else is competing against you this summer.
Yeah.
We were talking a couple hours ago. We were talking about how the fact that, getting AD is now telling everyone, hey, I already got a top 5, top 6 guy on the team. You're just joining him, right? That's a chess move. That's a power move. That's a step forward of saying, look, we already have Anthony Davis on our team. If you're worried about the Nets, or if that's a thing, you think KD could be going there, you might want to put a trump card and say, okay, they got cap space, we got cap space and AD. What do you want now? So Perry and Mills, like I said, they've remained steadfast that they're not going to rush things, they're not going to change things up. But I wonder how this affects their thinking. And if the Nets build a super team, this is my big one. Because last summer at the town hall, they asked Perry and Mills, they said, hey, what happens if we don't get the guys we want? Because we saw what happened when we signed Amari. We couldn't get LeBron, so we got Amari. We still built a decent team, but it wasn't perfect. Perry and Mills said, we're doing it the right way. We're not trading draft picks, blah, 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 blah.
Love to be a fly on the wall to hear when this happened, what their conversation was. Did they immediately call meetings like, hey, we got to meet?
I don't think they're that reactionary, because I think they're already in their heads already planning for way more scenarios than we might have spent.
Yeah, that's true.
But my big thing is, if the Nets, let's say the Nets get KD and Kyrie. So now Brooklyn's running. So they signed them day one of free agency. You still have Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Kemba Walker, DeMarcus Cousins, the whole group of the other free agents available. Mm-hmm. The Knicks have kind of said they won't be paying guys like Cousins or maybe even Butler because they're not the KD. You're paying them the same money, but they're not the KD Kyrie type.
Yeah.
The Nets now are about to be a top 2 team in the league, because I'm telling you, people, we talk about market share, the Barclays Center doesn't sell out, blah blah blah. If we don't have anyone and the Nets have KD and Kyrie, very quickly, it's not gonna flip. It's not gonna flip like what immediately, but it will.
But it will.
Over time.
It will. You have to remember too. A lot of young people that have just come and moved into Brooklyn. Like I'm talking about young, like kids that are like 5 and 6 years old that their parents are taking to the games. This is now their New York team. For us, for me, for you, and other people that we meet, New York Knicks were the team. But for a lot of these young kids growing up right now, the Nets are their New York team. So that could shift so much. KD and Kyrie going there is going to be like so explosive. It's going to make that team. And yes, New York has been the mecca of basketball, but look at how close Brooklyn is. We live in Brooklyn. I mean, we're right here.
I mean, like I said, we have the stranglehold. It's funny because this news happened, but all the news on Twitter and online is not about the Nets doing it. It's more about, oh my God, what does this mean for the Knicks?
Right.
So I'm not worried about that. I love Brooklyn as in my heart, but screw the Brooklyn Nets. I cannot stand the few teams I hate as much as the Brooklyn Nets. But the rivalry is about to be on. But like I was saying before, and you said it as well, competition is good. The Knicks have been able to get away with murder in this market because they dominate the market. There's no competition. Everyone's going to sell out, yada, 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 right? When the Nets are getting back page stories and the tide is changing, that puts more pressure on us. So I genuinely think long-term, if the Nets are doing well, that's making us have to do better because you perform better under competition. That said, definitely a Woj bomb. Big news. Let's see how it plays out. It's starting now. So look, we got 2 weeks till the draft. We're going to be at a draft party, by the way, at Slattery's Pub, along with a host of other Knick content creators. We're going to be there early, so check us out. I'm going to put the information everywhere so we can all see.
Cool.
But there's the first Woj bomb of the summer, and there are going to be a lot more Woj bombs coming in a few weeks.
All right.
As always, thanks again for watching our video. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you'll know every time that we post a new video. And check out some of our other stuff.